When you hear the word hero, what comes to mind? A famous athlete, a legendary musician, maybe even a superhero from a comic book. But what about heroes who work behind the scenes, whose names aren't known by everyone, yet their contributions are just as significant? Today, we're going to uncover the story of a man and his team of codebreakers who work tirelessly in secrecy. Their work so impactful that it changed the course of history. Their efforts helped win a war, laid the foundation for modern computers, and yet they remained in the shadows for decades. So join me on this journey as we explore the extraordinary tale of these quiet heroes and discover how one man in particular, Alan Turing, played a pivotal role in shaping the world we live in today. Prepare to be amazed by the brilliant mind of Alan Turing and his team as they take on the seemingly impossible task of cracking the enemy's top-secret code. But will they succeed, or will the war turn against them? You'll have to watch till the end to find out. Before we begin, please subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. And now let's go back to the story. Imagine a world where messages were sent and received in secret codes, where only those who knew the code could decipher the secrets being shared. This wasn't a fantasy or a futuristic thriller. It was the reality of World War II, and the stakes were higher than ever before. One wrong move, and lives could be lost, cities could be destroyed. In this intense atmosphere of secrecy and danger, a small group of people led by the brilliant mathematician and computer scientist Alan Turing embarked on a mission that would change the course of history forever. Their goal was nothing short of daunting: crack the unbreakable Enigma code used by the Germans. But who was Alan Turing? Why was he chosen for this perilous task? Well, he wasn't just any mathematician. He was a genius, a visionary who saw the potential of computers long before they became commonplace. Turing's mind was like a steel trap, able to grasp complex concepts and solve problems that baffled even the brightest minds. But he wasn't just intelligent. He was also a man of unwavering determination. A man who wouldn't give up in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. When the British government approached him with the challenge of cracking the Enigma code, he didn't hesitate. He assembled a team of the brightest minds, the best codebreakers in the country, and together they went to work. It was a Herculean task. The Germans had designed the Enigma machine to be virtually unbreakable. It used a complex system of rotors and wiring to encrypt messages, making it almost impossible for anyone to decipher them. But Turing and his team weren't daunted. They worked day and night, their only goal to break the code and uncover the secrets the Germans were hiding. As the war raged on, the stakes became higher and the pressure mounted. But through it all, Turing and his team pressed on, driven by their unwavering commitment to their mission. Finally, after months of tireless work, they did the impossible. They broke the Enigma code, and the impact was immediate and profound. The British military was able to intercept German communications and use them to plan their moves, catching the Germans off guard and turning the tide of the war in the Allies' favor. It was a victory that not only saved countless lives, but also paved the way for the Allied triumph. But despite their monumental achievement, Turing and his team remain in the shadows. Their work classified and their identities kept secret from the public. It wasn't until decades later that their story began to be told. Their contributions to the war effort finally recognized. Yet even then, the full extent of their work wasn't revealed. The details were still too sensitive, the secrets too important to share. So the story of Turing and his team remains shrouded in mystery, known only to a few. But why is it important to tell this story now? Why do we need to know about Alan Turing and his team of codebreakers? Well, because their story isn't just about winning a war or cracking a code. It's about the power of the human mind, the incredible things we can achieve when we set our minds to it. These were ordinary people who did extraordinary things. And their story reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail. In today's world, it's easy to forget the sacrifices and efforts of those who came before us. We live in a time of instant gratification, where everything is at our fingertips and the past seems like a distant memory. But we must remember, that every generation faces its own challenges, its own battles to fight. And the generation that lived through World War II faced perhaps the greatest challenge of all. It was a time when the fate of the world hung in the balance, when the forces of good and evil seemed poised for a final showdown. And amidst this chaos and uncertainty, there were individuals like Alan Turing, men and women who exhibited extraordinary courage and determination. They were the unsung heroes of their time, the ones who didn't seek fame or glory, but simply did what they felt was right. They were the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice, giving their all to ensure that future generations could live in peace. So let's take a moment to remember these heroes. Let's remember the men and women who fought and died on the battlefields, who risked their lives to save others, who stood up for what they believed in no matter the cost. Let's also remember the unsung heroes of World War II, the ones who worked behind the scenes, whose contributions were just as vital, yet often overlooked. One of the most significant contributions made during the war was in the field of code breaking. The Germans had developed a sophisticated encryption machine called Enigma, which was used to send secret messages that could only be decoded with a special machine. The British and American governments realized the importance of breaking the Enigma code and set up secret units to try to do just that. It was a daunting task, but one that was eventually accomplished thanks to the efforts of thousands of dedicated codebreakers. Among them was Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician who is considered to be the father of modern computing. He developed the first computer program that was capable of breaking the Enigma code, a feat that is said to have shortened the war by several years and saved countless lives. Turing and his team of codebreakers worked tirelessly, often under dangerous conditions, to provide the Allies with the intelligence they needed to win the war. Their work was classified and top secret, and many of them had to keep their contributions hidden for decades. But their efforts were not in vain. Breaking the Enigma code gave the Allies a crucial advantage over the Germans, helping them to defeat the enemy and bring an end to the war. Despite their vital contribution to the Allied victory, the codebreakers were largely forgotten until decades later. Many of them were not even recognized for their service until well into their old age. But their story is an important one, a story of bravery, intelligence, and dedication in the face of great challenges. Another important contribution made during World War II was in the field of medicine. With so many people fighting and dying in the war, it was important to find ways to improve medical care for both soldiers and civilians. Doctors and researchers worked tirelessly to develop new treatments and therapies, often under difficult and dangerous conditions. One of the most important advances made during the war was in the treatment of penicillin, a drug that had been discovered in 1928 but was not widely used until the 1940s. Penicillin is an antibiotic that can kill bacteria and was found to be highly effective in treating bacterial infections such as pneumonia and sepsis. The development and mass production of penicillin saved countless lives during the war and continues to save lives today. In addition to advancing medical treatments, doctors and researchers also work to improve sanitation and public health measures. This was especially important in areas that had been heavily bombed or were otherwise affected by the war. Medical personnel worked to prevent the spread of disease and to provide medical care to those who were sick. They also worked to improve the overall health of the population by promoting good nutrition and exercise. These efforts were essential in helping people to survive the war and to recover afterwards. Despite the challenges and hardships they faced, the doctors and researchers who worked during World War II made some of the most important medical advances in history. Their work not only helped to save countless lives during the war, but also laid the foundation for future medical breakthroughs. But the contributions made during World War II were not limited to the fields of codebreaking and medicine. People from all walks of life made important contributions to the war effort. Women, for example, played a vital role in the war, working in factories, shipyards, and other industries to keep the war machine running. They also served in the armed forces, not only as nurses, but also as pilots. radio operators, and more. African Americans and other minorities also made important contributions to the war effort, serving in the armed forces and working in various support roles. Moreover, the war led to important advancements in technology, such as the development of radar, jet aircraft, and nuclear weapons. While these advancements had a devastating impact on the course of the war, they also had a profound impact on the world as a whole, shaping the future of technology and warfare. In conclusion, World War II was a defining moment in history, a time of great suffering and loss, but also a time of great courage and resilience. The contributions made during this time were vast and varied. From the heroic efforts of those who fought and died to the important advancements made in science, medicine, and technology, it is important that we remember and learn from this period in history, not only to honor the sacrifices of those who came before us, but also to strive to make the world a better place for future generations. So let us remember the heroes of World War II, not only the famous figures, but also the ordinary people who did extraordinary things. Let us honor their memory by working to create a world that is more peaceful, just and compassionate, and let us never forget the valuable lessons we learned from this pivotal moment in history. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Alan Turing and his team of codebreakers? Do you know any other unsung heroes from World War II or any other time period? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.